Hi everybody, so this is going to be the tutorial or walkthrough for lab number 9 that you're going to be doing, which is about simulating predation and natural selection, which you should be very familiar with now. So the number one thing with this lab is you are going to have 3 different roles. So essentially, instead of working in a group like you would in lab, you're doing every single part by yourself, but it's really not that bad, and I'm going to explain to you how all of this works. So I started table 1 or experiment 1 and my phone died and cut off. So I already put some data in here, but I'm going to go through and show you how I did it. So the first time you start experiment 1, you start with part B. So you want to have 10 brightly colored toothpicks. You're either going to have orange or blue, I think, that we gave you, and then 10 tan or just not colored toothpicks. 10 of each go in your range, which should just be something like this. I just have a little container with leaves in it, and you want to crush up the leaves as well as you can. So you're going to have 10 of each in there. Then as the predator, your job is to then pick up or capture the first 10 toothpicks you see. So I already did it for this one, obviously, but to, demonstrate to you, you want to be as objective and random as possible. You don't want to be staring in here. So see, this is the first one I see. So I grab that. And then, you're kind of looking through the environment, looking for more. Oh, there's the next one. So that's what you're going to do. And it's going to be as random as you can make it. Obviously, you don't want to just have it right in front of you and stare at it. You want to do the best you can. So I ended up getting 6 colored and 4 tan. So this is the important part. You record the number of each color that survived. So I went over here. We started with 10. So there are 10 initial colored and 10 initial tan. When we finished, I had 4 colored and 6 tan, if that makes sense. Because think about it, when you're pulling these out, so I had 6 colored that I pulled out and 4 tan that I pulled out first. And then after that, so after that you need to collect the remaining 10 toothpicks. That comes before you put this data in. Sorry about that. So you're going to go in here and take out the rest of them that you didn't pick out initially. So there's the initial 10 and then the final 10 that did not get taken out of here. So of course I just did the math over here. Since I had picked out 6 colored, there were 4 left over. And then since I picked out 4 tan, there were 6 left over. But every time you do this, just make sure you eventually take out all 20. But that's how this works. So we started with 10 of each. We ended up with 4 colored and 6 tan. Your final total is 10, so just 4 plus 6. And the percentages are easy as well. So look at your final colored over the total. 4 over 10 is 40%. Final tan, 6 over 10 is 60%. Now for the offspring, this is a really important part, which is why I highlighted this here. You assume that enough females survive to mate with all of our males. After mating, each toothpick dies but leaves 2 male offspring of the same color. So here, we're not worried about the different colors right now. Each toothpick dies and leaves 2 offspring. So this example, which I can read too, will help you. At the end of season 1, you have 4 colored and 6 tan toothpicks remaining. These will die, but leave behind 2 offspring of the same color. Therefore, the next season, you begin with 8 brightly colored and 12 tan toothpicks. So the numbers double. So here, we ended with 4 colored, there's going to be 8 offspring. We ended with 6 tan, there's going to be 12 offspring. So those are doubled. And that is what you're going to bring over here and start with in season 2. So now I'm going to explain, basically, both of these I'm going to go through 2 seasons so you understand what I'm doing. So now, when you move on to the next season, you have to go back to A and make sure you remove any stray toothpicks. This needs to happen before you continue your seasons. So you want to go in here and pretty much make sure that whatever you didn't get is removed, because we are starting with a different number. So you want to make sure you're starting with the correct amount that you calculated. I'm going to put this down and remove the remaining toothpicks. Alright, so now, of course, we looked over here. We're starting with 8 colored and 12 tan. So we have 6 here. So we start with 8. This is pretty much how you reset every single time. And then we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 12. Okay. Alright, so just make sure you have the right number, mix them up just a little bit for randomness, and repeat the exact same steps. So now we're going to go in and pick the first 10 toothpicks that we see. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And of course, see, I can see a lot of them, but I'm just trying to be objective and pick the first ones that I reach for. So, now, we do this once again. We separate the tan from the colored. So this time I managed to get 7 tan and 3 colored. Now we have to remove the rest of them. So if we write that down. I know you're doing a lot by yourself, but as long as you keep track of what you're doing, you won't have any issues. So I got 7 tan and 3 colored. Alright, so you want to go through and remove the remaining. And of course, when I'm removing them, I just try to make it easier doing this. Alright, there we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tan, and 5 colored. Those were the remaining. So we go to the final, 5 and 5. So we have 10 again. Percentages are easy for this one. It's 50-50. Now, once again, we're still in experiment 1. So each offspring dies, each toothpick dies and leaves double their offspring, or 2 offspring. So we have 5 and 5 for the finals here. That's going to be 10 and 10. So hopefully going through both of those seasons makes sense to you guys and you understand what I'm doing, because now we have experiment number 2. And of course there's questions you're going to have to answer once you're finished with that. So we move on to experiment 2, and I've highlighted some stuff here. So we're going to go through it the exact same way, how the instructions tell you. So you set up the experiment the same way in the beginning. You have 10 of each color. So let's get our range put back together. Yes, this is probably going to make a mess for you, but it's alright. So, and I've made sure to remove all the remaining toothpicks as well, so there's nothing left in there. So let's get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 colored. Oops. And 10 tan. There we go. So 10 of each, just like experiment 1. Now we are going to do the exact same thing. You remove the first 10 that you see, and then collect the 10 remaining after you get the first 10. So that's what we're going to do. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Didn't mean to do that, but it happened. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we got 6 colored and 4 tan. So now we're going to remove all the remaining ones. gonna make a mess. So we're just gonna live with that. Alright, so I've gotten all the remaining ones out. I'm so sorry about my camera skills. It's just me. So. Okay, so remaining, we had 4 colored and 6 tan. So that's what we're gonna do. So once again, we started with 10 of each. We had 4 colored and 6 tan in the finals. Final total's 10. Percentages are easy once again. Don't know why this won't focus. Alright, now here is the big difference in experiment 2, which I also highlighted. You are assuming that each brightly colored toothpick mates and produces 4 brightly colored offspring, because here, the females prefer to mate with brightly colored toothpicks over tan. So this is the mate preference section. This is the difference between the first experiment. So you will have all the colored toothpicks produce 4 brightly colored offspring, but the tan will still only leave 2 offspring. So that is the same as last. So if we look at the tan offspring, which is 6, that's going to double. So we're going to have 12. But now we have 4 colored offspring. That is going to be, they're each going to produce 4 offspring. So what's 4 times 4? 16. Here we go. So that's what's going to happen. Now hopefully you all have roughly around 20 of each colored toothpick, so if you get to a certain doubling amount, you know, you're not going to run out. But that's pretty much what's going to happen. So now, you take these numbers, and you bring them to season 2. But wait, you have to read more of the instructions here. So, this is how experiment 2 is different as well. So you, the predator, start season 2 by selecting half of the initial population. Not 10, as in before, but half. Round all the fractions down. Yeah, it's not always going to be great. But, so now you're going to take half of what you had here. So. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. I am going to do some math. Alright. So we're going to start with half of the initial population. So it would be 16 and 12, but now it's going to be 8. Half of 12 is 6. So that's what we're going to start with in season 2. So we've made sure that there's nothing left in here. Then we're going to return 8 colored toothpicks and 6 tan toothpicks to the range. Six, 7, 8. Okay. Alright, now you're going to resume the exact same thing. Pick up the first 10 that you see. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Alright, once again, we have 6 tan and 4 colored. Now we're going to remove all the remaining toothpicks. And that is it. So we had 3 colored remaining and 0 tan. So here's what's going to happen. 3 colored remaining, 0 tan. So your final total is 3. Final percent colored, obviously 3 out of 3 is 100%. And your tan is 0. So now, since we had 0 tan, they're not going to have any offspring, because when you double 0, it's just 0. But the colored of course, we remember produces 4 brightly colored offspring. So 3 times 4 is 12. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys, and you'll understand how these experiments work and how they're different. Like I said, this might make a bit of a mess, but it's really not that bad. You can probably get through it pretty quickly, but you're going to do 4 seasons for each. And when it comes to the graphs, we are going to have those attached with explanations separate from this video. But hopefully from what I've showed you, you guys will understand what to do, and you'll maybe have a little fun with it even though you're by yourself. So, alright, I guess that's it.